2003, the body of Gilgamesh was found in the desert of Iraq. And interesting that the U.S. military started its military occupation phase of Iraq 1 month later. We all know we went into Iraq under false pretenses, right? They told us weapons of mass destruction, right? They said that we didn't find weapons of mass destruction, but I have a feeling we found the weapon of mass destruction, and we set up shop there immediately after that and established 500 military bases in the largest embassy of any other embassy on the entire planet in Babylon. Interesting. What's our nation up to? We say one nation under God. I started to question this under God business. Say, which God? Because some people say, well, we serve the God of the Bible. I'm like, which God of the Bible? Are we talking about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or all the other gods that God says don't have any of those before me? I think we need to start questioning when we start hearing, especially politicians, using our lingo, Christianese. George H.W. Bush was asked if he was a Christian. And he said, well, if by that mean have I been born again, then yes, I am a Christian. We all heard our Christianese, didn't we? Say, oh, George Bush is a Christian. The problem is that they have a perverted sexual ritual that they do in the Skull and Bones Society, of which his father and son were both a part of, where they do all this perverted sexual activity in a casket. They get out of the casket, and they are said to be born again, anew, into the Bonesman Fellowship of the Skull and Bones Society. So he's using semantics. Yeah, I've been born again. Woohoo! Okay, is this Nicodemus born again stuff, or is this Skull and Bones? I think it's time to start asking questions. So my wife and I went to Washington, D.C. with the glasses on. This is the roof of the train station. So we walked out of the train station, I looked up, and the whole roof of the train station is lined with pagan gods. And I read this first little plaque right there. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it talks about lightning and electricity and how that's been beneficial to mankind. And at the bottom of that, it says, "Thou hast put all things under his feet." Well, that sounds like Scripture, doesn't it? Who does that refer to in Scripture? Jesus. The problem is that's Zeus standing right next to that plaque. Zeus. Washington, D.C. is full of Zeus worship. And what's interesting is it goes all the way back to our founding, really. Right after George Washington died, this is a government-commissioned statue that was created, okay? A government-commissioned statue was made of George Washington. And what did they do? They depict him as a god sitting on a throne. Which god? Zeus. This is a rendition right here of one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the statue of Zeus and the temple of Zeus. And just to prove that that is in fact Zeus that he is being portrayed as, you see just kind of on the left side of him, on the side of his throne, you can see kind of something there. That is Hercules. And on the other side, it's Apollo, 2 sons of Zeus. So yes, that is George depicted as Zeus. The Washington Monument is a representation of the phallus of Osiris. Obelisks are phallic symbols. Okay, and this is the largest in the world, although I hear that they're building, I forget where, somebody just told me about it recently, a larger one. But the Washington Monument, up to this time, is the largest phallus symbol in the world. The phallus symbol of Osiris is 6,666 inches tall, which is like 555.5 feet tall, although there's 111 feet going under, they say, to stabilize it. So it'd be 666 feet total, and 666 inches wide at the base on all 4 sides. 666. So, when we start thinking about our country, we say one nation under God, right? And people like David Barton will have you believe that our founding fathers were Christians and that this was a Christian-founded country. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm going to show you a few things that would beg to differ with that idea. Yes, there were Puritans on the boat, there were Pilgrims on the boat, but there were also Rosicrucians on the boat, Illuminists on the boat, Freemasons on the boat, and unfortunately those were the guys that wrote up all our documents and designed Washington, D.C. and built all the buildings. Those guys were not Christians. They were deists at best, but they were not Christians. When we think of Osiris, America, and the number 13, number 13, how many of you remember growing up and being told about the Betsy Ross flag and the 13 colonies and all that 13? Well, we've got the Great Seal of America that has the eagle on the front and the pyramid on the back, and I got the Betsy Ross flag there. So we got 13 steps. on the Great Seal's pyramid. 13 letters in the Latin phrase annuit coeptis. 13 letters in E pluribus unum. 13 stars above the eagle. That's the Star of David there, but that has nothing to do with David. The Star of David is not a good thing. 13 bars on the shield. 13 leaves on the olive branch. 13 arrows. 13 original colonies. 13 signers of the Declaration of Independence. 13 stars and 13 stripes on our original Betsy Ross flag. What's the big deal with 13? Well, in the mythology, Osiris was hacked up into 14 pieces, but one of them was missing, and that's the one that was fashioned into an obelisk. So really all you have left is 13 pieces of Osiris. So everything to do with Osiris revolves around that number, and so does just about everything in our country by the Illuminists who worship him. If you're really interested in going deep in this, because we don't have time to go a whole lot deeper in that, check out Chris Pinto's documentaries. He's got some outstanding documentaries. These are just a few of them. The Hidden Faith of Our Founding Fathers, The New Atlantis, Riddles in Stone, and Eye of the Phoenix. They will really open your eyes.